Good morning. So it is Friday the 23rd of November and here is my mum. We are on our way to the Royal Brompton Hospital because today I am having a bronchoscopy done. Later on in this video I'm going to be explaining as why and answering all the questions you've sent me. But as soon as I get into hospital they're going to be prepping me with a slight bit of sedation before they start the procedure. And I have been given permission to film the entire procedure, which I'll be sharing with you throughout this video. And the consultant has even said he will send me the videos of what he takes of my lungs from the actual bronchoscopy itself, which is very kind of him. So it means that I can show you not only the procedure itself, which hopefully will put some minds at ease, and also if you are ever having to go through anything like this, it will prepare you for what's coming, because I know how scary it can feel when you don't know what's coming, but also show you the exact condition of my lungs. And having a lung disease, this can be really, really interesting as to what's going on in there. And I can tell you as well that because I had a CT scan in preparation, there is something very specific they're looking for, which is the reason I'm having the bronchoscopy in the first place. So we have just got to the hospital and we are waiting to be prepped by the nurses. And my mum has decided she thought she'd buy herself a coffee to tease me while I'm sitting here fasting in need of coffee. You know how much I love my coffee. I did say she should go and get a coffee if she wanted one. But it's making me very sad. So I'm going to have to be making up for it as soon as this is done. So I've just had my cannula put in my arm, which means I'm prepped and ready to go. So all I've got to do now is wait for the doctor to come around, give his consent, and then it's showtime.
So these white things are your airways. Most of the white things that you can trace back are blood vessels, but you've got these sort of shadows that come and go that are, you've got lots of them here, that are probably infection or inflammation related. So we'll probably wash out a bit of the right upper lobe because that looks the worst. You've got a few down in the right lower lobe as well. So we'll wash out the right upper. If you're doing really well, we might just do a quick little wash of the right lower as well, just to get some microbiology to help us.
Okay. You look so worried.
So this is the bronchoscope. The camera on the end. Flexible end so that we can navigate around the airways. Channel here to put some fluid in and suck it back out. Oops. There's a little bit of fluid there. A light source. And then we can see on the screen what's going on. We'll be much clearer once we're in the airways. The whole thing will take between 5 and 10 minutes. Put a little bit of fluid into the top of the right lung, a little bit into the bottom of the right lung, suck it all back, and send it off for microbiology. Okay. Good.
Amazing, thanks. Okay, so I'm here with the amazing team and it is now time for me to have my bronchoscopy. Are you ready?
Yep.
See you at the side.
We'll turn this way? No, the other way. That's it, very good. Yeah, that's it, that's your Instagram post. Yeah. Both put a thumbs up. That's it, that's a good one. Shall I pause it?
Never a dull moment.
So I have just got back from the hospital after my bronchoscopy, and it's very nice to be home and also amazing to be able to eat. So I'm going to be spending the rest of this day basically eating. I do have a bit of a sore throat and my lungs are a bit sore when I cough, which is to be expected, absolutely normal. So that only can call for one thing: a whole tub of ice cream to myself. So I've had so many questions from so many of you, so I'm now just going to sit and answer them all. And I hope that by sharing this experience with you, it educates you for one, because this is why I'm doing it. I aspire to educate and share what I'm doing and parts of my life like this that aren't so fun, so that all of you out there not only can understand a bit more about CF, or if you are having to go through a similar procedure or a bronchoscopy itself, it takes away any of the questions or any of the fears. Because honestly guys, I was a little bit apprehensive because I haven't had one for 10 years. But I can tell you this, I will no longer be worried about them, because the consultant I had this morning was absolutely brilliant, Dr. Kemp. Not only did he make me laugh a lot, he was literally the star of the show. For the filming, he was so up for it, as were the rest of his team, so I cannot thank them enough for being so awesome this morning, especially because they all joined in. Dr. Kemp did some filming to explain about the bronchoscopy, which he didn't have to do, and I kindly asked and he said yes, which you would have seen. And actually at the end, which you would have seen in the videos that I've shared already, we were laughing and having a joke. So I hope that by you seeing that side of it has shown that it's actually not as scary as you think. Also, I'm not saying it was the most fun experience of my entire life, but what I am saying is, if you are having to face it, please do not get anxious or over worry, because mine was absolutely fine. There was zero pain, and actually the worst thing of the whole experience was the throat spray that apparently is supposed to taste like banana, but I'm pretty sure it tastes more like vodka. And that's not great when it's being sprayed into the back of your throat. Honestly, if you'd seen the expression on my face, which you may have seen in the video itself, I was very taken back by it, but also kind of made me laugh, because I was like, oh wow, who invented that? We need to speak to them to sort this out. So now I'm going to go into some of the questions that you've asked. I'll answer them the best I can. Okay, question 1. Why am I having a bronchoscopy? So I've had this question a fair few times, and obviously it's probably come to a bit of a shock or a surprise, because I am really well. So the reasons why I've had this bronchoscopy is not because I'm poorly, and it is simply because my lung function over the last year or so has been a bit up and down. There's been no real reason as to why this has happened. So I kind of sat down with my consultant and said, look, we could try a course of antibiotics, but what happens if they don't work? And what happens if we are missing something? And although I am really well, I'm also really thorough. I would rather find out via bronchoscopy if there is anything we are missing, so we can treat that and move forward, rather than wait and see if I get sick and then end up in hospital. Because guys, I have a life to lead, and I have a very exciting 2019 coming up, and for me, health has to come first. So I will do anything in my power to be healthy and well, even if it is putting myself through a procedure which isn't that great. So the purpose of it was to get to the bottom of why my lungs have been a bit temperamental. Although my lung function still stayed high, I've woken up with sore throats and all sorts of things for no real reason. Positive of this is the CT scan I had before my bronchoscopy, which you have to have so that the consultants know what they're looking for, showed that I had some microbacteria in my lungs. Nothing serious, nothing that was causing damage or anything like that, but obviously this isn't ideal, and I would rather have it treated. So the idea of the bronchoscopy then was, which was a very good thing that we decided to do in the first place, to take a sample and find out what it is so we can treat it and get rid of it. Question 2. Am I going to be knocked out? Not fully. So what made me laugh this morning was that the doctor said, so sedation is optional, but you don't have to have it. So I replied saying, usually I am a very brave person, but there is no way I'm not going to take sedation if it's there. Just because with a bronchoscopy, obviously you are having a camera down into your lungs, and it is a lot harder for them to do their job properly, take samples and things like that, if you are coughing too much. Obviously a bronchoscopy is going to make you cough because it's going into your lungs and it's not a natural thing to happen to your body. And when they take samples, they spray water down the bronchoscope to then collect things back up. So if you weren't sedated, you'd probably end up coughing more, which would make the procedure a lot longer, perhaps more painful and perhaps more complicated. So I took this slight sedation, although I was awake, and I'm very glad I did, because really in reality it makes no difference. You don't have to be brave, or what I would say maybe a bit stupid, to go through something like that without taking the necessary precautions. Question 3. So one of the questions is, which I kind of explained earlier, an FEV1 of 95%. Why would you need a bronchoscopy? Basically, it's because I've been feeling under the weather, as I've said earlier. Not because I'm not fit and strong. I've done so many amazing challenges and adventures this year, which has proved that I'm fit, healthy, but there was just something underlying, and I'm the kind of person that I would rather find out what's going on than leave it, because, you know, with CF, you can just never know. You can feel really well, but the results may say otherwise. So I would rather just find out. And I know I've had loads of people message me because they're really confused as to why they haven't had one, or because they've got a lower lung function, or why I'm not staying in for IVs after. So the reason for that is, one, was an agreed decision with my consultants to figure out what's going on, especially because I was considering coming off one of my medications. I'm not staying in for IVs after because I'm not sick and I do not need them, so it would be a waste, and it wouldn't do anything anyway because I don't need them. And because it was optional, I could have pulled out before and not had it, but at the end of the day, as I've said, I want to get to the bottom as to why my sore throats and stuff have been happening for the last 6 months, and why my lung function seemingly won't stabilise. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we would have got there. Question number 4 is, how often does my CF team do a bronchoscopy? It is not down to how often, it is down to the patient and the circumstance. So I haven't had one for 10 years. And as I've said, mine was opted because of the reasons I've already given. So it's really down to the individual and down to the patient. And I guess if you had them more regularly, there would be specific reasons, or if your consultant suggested for you to have one, then there will be reasons as to why they think it would be beneficial. So hopefully I won't have to have one for another 10 years. But if I do, then that's absolutely fine, because it is not a terrifying experience. And also on that note, because at the end of that question it says my team refuses to do it, there must be reasons as to why they do not want individuals to go through bronchoscopies. But because I'm really well, and I suppose it is a decision we made together, and the risks perhaps are lower because I am so well, we decided to go ahead with it to make sure that I was getting the correct treatment that I needed for my own personal health. Question number 5. So what is a bronchoscopy? A bronchoscopy is basically an instrument with a camera on the end, which will go down into your throat, sometimes through your nose, to go into your lungs to examine any inflammation, abnormalities, or take samples for testing in a lab. Basically, it is for diagnostic and examination purposes. Okay, and the last question, which is totally unrelated, but kind of related because I am a firm believer in this. So one of the questions is, when did I start taking fitness more seriously? Well, firstly, before I answer this question, I want to say that I am a firm believer, and I know many people would back me up and say this, that fitness is the key to keeping a lung condition healthy and keeping your lungs working as well as they possibly can. I do believe that fitness has saved my life. So I have always loved health and fitness, and I've always been into health and fitness and played all the team sports, and throughout school I had horses, competed on track. But when I became sick when I was 19, I realised that it was time to take things more seriously. I had to really focus my training on what would keep me healthy as a person, including the nutrition side of it, because this is so important for your cystic fibrosis. Rather than eating loads of sugar, you need to keep your meals super healthy. And I realise we are all humans, so obviously we all love the odd bit of chocolate, but it is so important to get nutrient-dense foods in there. But I will save that for another video because I feel it deserves a whole video on nutrition and fitness. But if I was to say when I took my fitness more seriously, it'd be when I was 19. I started going to the gym, I started lifting weights and really focusing on my breathing techniques in the gym and what really pushed my lungs to their max. And if you asked me today, I'd say my top 5 tips for fitness CF in the gym, outside of the gym, would be find something you love so that you do it to keep motivated, because part of this question was I can't keep myself motivated 24/7. Nobody can, but it's about becoming disciplined to do it even when you don't want to, or even when the moment's passed or the moment of motivation has passed. Don't get me wrong, some days I do not want to go to the gym, but I push myself there for the pure reason I want to live and stay alive and I want to stay healthy for as long as I can. And the saying I always go back to is the excuses you make today will be the regrets you have at the end of your life. So cut the excuses and get your medication done and get down to the gym, because those two things together could be the key for you living a very long, happy, healthy life. The second tip I would give you is find somebody either to train with you or to train you, because you will find, even me, I don't push myself as hard unless I've got a trainer or got someone to train with me. Number 3 would be, even if you're worried, get lifting weights, because this will keep your body and mind strong. It's so important, as well as working the lungs, that you are working your entire body so that your whole body becomes strong, because if you do get sick, then your body has some strength behind it to fight. And this is where it's so important, which is why in the past I've showed all my hospital workouts, because even when in hospital I will try my best to push my body, to keep it moving, because I'm a firm believer, to keep going, you've got to keep going. Okay, number 4 would be keep it consistent and try and train on the same days every single week, because this will make sure that the gaps in your diary are in there and it will get you going to there. And also train on a Monday, because if you train on a Monday, then it will get you in the right mindset to absolutely smash the rest of the week. Because I find if I haven't been to the gym, my mindset drops. I feel a bit low, I feel a bit rubbish. But as soon as I've been to the gym, I feel right back up there. I'm ready to kill it. I'm ready to push myself. My business life, in my fitness life. And so if you can have both of those going, you're automatically going to feel better. And the more you do it, the more motivated you will feel. Number 5, it is okay to not kill every single session. It is not about that. It is about getting yourself to the gym. Some sessions will be better than others, and that is cool. And that is absolutely fine. So long as you are out there and you're moving, you'll feel better for getting to the gym and not going. Nobody regretted going to the gym or getting a workout in, trust me. On that note, it is also really important to think about how many times a week suits you to train. So for me, it's 4 times a week, because I would rather give 100% to 4 sessions a week than 70% to 6. So think about what suits your body, what rest you need, because rest and recovery are just as important as going to the gym. And then just go and do it. And on that note, I am now going to love you and leave you. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please share it to anybody you feel would be of benefit. Please subscribe and give it a like, and I really hope that it has eased any of your fears, and I hope it's given you some education into what to expect if you know somebody or yourself is going to be going to have a bronchoscopy.